Hello, and welcome to the Pathenders podcast, an actual play of the Hell's Vengeance Adventure Path by Paizo, converted into 2nd edition Pathfinder by me, someone with way too much time on their hands. In this episode, I do misspeak a little bit towards the top. The PC's benefactor, when they meet, is offering them membership in the Thrune Agency as a reward. It is not what they're being given now. They work for him directly, and that'll make more sense once you hear who it is and what they're talking about. But just know that when I say Thrune agents, I mean they are working directly for this person. There's also some missing audio from this that we weren't able to recover, and it is a player who's no longer participating, so we weren't able to sit down and re-record it as I would have preferred. Again, no hard feelings about it. Anyway, not important. What is important is this episode does contain mention of self-harm, so be prepared for that. So without further ado, here is Pathenders, Episode 1, Pomp and Circumstance.
Hi, I'm Jess. My pronouns are she, her, and I play Charlie Malachio, the human witch from Sheliax.
I am Oni, or Onita, or Flustered Bun, whichever one people want to call me, and I am Suriel Tanash, the tiefling swashbuckler.
Schlessel as Regulus Lex, the puppet gunslinger.
I'm Grapes playing Uktuk, the orcish tyrant champion.
And I'm James, the GM, as everyone else. Our story begins, as such stories often do, with an extremely high-stakes job interview. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How are we doing?
I'm
It's
okay.
not inaccurate. I am already nervous.
I'm excited for today.
I get to see Charlie again.
I get
Yeah.
to see Suriel again.
Yeah.
I get to
So
exist.
Too.
Who are these nerds? No.
Who is this? Where
So
am
we,
I? What have you done?
we took last session to do some recap, catch-up stuff, little clip show. Proper play begins now.
Wow.
Hooray!
Wow, so
And
fancy.
where we find our protagonists, I can't say heroes,
Why not?
because you're not.
Oh.
In our eyes, we're our own heroes.
You're the villains
I'm
of
the
the tale.
I'm the only
Schless,
hero
are
of
we
my
the
own
bad
story.
guys?
Are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies?
Are we the
Anyway,
bad-
so in two groups, you are arriving at the manor of the Archbaron. I have a little bit of flavor text to give you a feel for how the building looks, because, it's important to set the scene.
Of course.
So, sharp gables and tall, narrow windows lend the Archbaron's manor an abbey-like quality, as though this were more a place of study and solemnity than leisure and laughter. A motif of rampant stags with antlers bloody from battle repeats along the iron rooftop finials and on a crest above the stone entrance. And for a sense of scale, this is the sprawling country estate of a noble lord. It's a gigantic building with a full complex of outbuildings. This place has its own self-sufficient farm, and the whole thing is walled off and gated. Naturally, bearing a summons from the Baron himself, you are hurried through the gate with no issue, and both of you, both groups, upon arriving, would be shown to a small sitting room where they are to await the Baron's pleasure.
Did we walk in at the same time, or did we walk in at different times?
That is up to the players. If y'all want to kind of meet at the gate, that's fine. If you want to meet when the Baron calls you all into his office, that is also fine. I will let y'all do whatever
I
feels
picture
more
us in
natural for
the
characters.
waiting room, and we're just kind of staring at each other.
Ooh. How
All
about
reading months-old highlights magazines.
Yeah.
how about the new people are already there waiting for them? And they enter and
All
it's
right.
like, who are these guys?
Well, who are you?
Who are these
Who are
folks?
your friends?
Who the fuck is this? Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck is that? Who are you?
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you are all shown to the waiting room by a halfling butler who disappears as soon as everyone is in the room and comes back a moment later with, some drinks and snacks. Like waiting room snacks. It's like crackers and little bottles of water.
I shall take a water. Because a bitch is thirsty, damn it now.
Yeah.
Charlie takes whatever because she knows food. Because food.
Yeah, actually, you know what? No, it is a tray of pastries.
Holy
God
shit,
damn it.
Various
okay.
fruit fillings.
Uktuk has a glass of
Danishes
wine.
and bear claws and stuff.
Muffin.
Yes, muffin is included in the pastry subfamily. So yeah, there are a selection of muffins.
I feel like that's like
Roz-
Regulus's personality now is like muffins,
Muffin?
which I love, by the way.
Rosalago now knows that we love muffins.
Well, he knows Regulus loves muffins.
Oh yeah, Regulus loves muffins.
Regulus takes a muffin.
Right. There's blueberry and bran.
What does Father
Bran,
take?
baby.
Oh, and corn. There are corn muffins.
Gotta be Bran.
All right.
Father has chosen. Charlie takes one of the filled pastries, and she really, really tries hard not to scarf it down. She's trying to collect herself, and because it tastes really good, and of course, she's just a nut for anything that's new because of where she's been, and food-wise, that this is new to her.
And as you proceeded through the Baron's estate, just a detail of what's going on. Like, this place is patrolled. He has a personal guard of soldiers. There are servants moving all throughout the house. So you see a lot of activity while you're in this room. It's not just like the Baron and the one butler. It's not Wayne Manor, where there's only, him and the butler, and that's it. Like, this place is fully staffed.
Which never made any sense to me.
Yeah, like in the 66 show, they also had, Aunt Harriet?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but the important detail to note is the soldiers and a few of the staff are all human, and the butlers and maids and all that are exclusively halfling.
Mm-hmm.
And given the legal state in Cheliax, it's safe to assume that any halfling you see here is a slave.
That you see on the premises, or just in Cheliax in general.
Oh no, and at the Baron's house, if there's a halfling in a noble's estate, almost definitely a slave. And then the few people around the house that the Baron has to deal with directly, those are going to be human, and then all the soldiers are human for tactical reasons.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But after probably not more than 20 minutes, the butler returns and says that the Baron is now awaiting you in his study, and if you would please follow him.
Is there a mirror anywhere that I could check my drab garb before I go see the Baron?
There's not one in the room, but if you ask the butler, he has a hand mirror in his pocket for this exact purpose.
Sir, excuse me. Do you have a mirror?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
He reaches in his pocket and pulls out. Yeah, it's not like a compact. It's the mirror on a stick.
Like the hand mirror? Yeah.
Very ornate, jeweled. It has the Baron's crest with the stags at the
Ooh.
bottom of it.
Fancy. That's what she'll say as she's fixing her hair, kind of fluffing up the back, because the higher the hair, the higher to God. And then she straightens
So
out.
Charlie canonically has a beehive now.
No. Well, more so that there's volume in her hair.
Yeah, the beehive is the highest hairdo there is.
Are you almost at Bayonetta from Bayonetta 1? 2 foot tall hair?
No, but we
Charlie just
can
looks like
work on that. We could definitely work on that. So she just fixes her hair and then kind of checks her teeth, and then she, checks her boobs, make sure they're nice and perky, because those are exactly what I do. And then she straightens out her necklace, and then she'll walk away.
Yeah. And once everybody has adjusted and dusted themselves off and such, you are led through the manor. The walk from the waiting room to the Baron's study takes about 5 minutes. Like, this is a huge building. As you are shown into the Baron's study, study is a very small sounding word for the room you're brought into. It's huge, 2 stories high, 100 feet or so back. There are curtained off alcoves on either side on the bottom floor. The top floor, there's a balcony. So it's like a mall where the middle is open and you can see down.
Wow.
And the whole top is just stack upon stack, just bookshelves as far as the eye can see.
So it's more like a library than a study.
Well, as you'll kind of get into more later, the study is a library / workshop / laboratory / like that's like the Baron does his work here, and the different parts of the room are for different stuff. Like, there is a desk for doing financial stuff. There is a alchemy lab in one corner. Like,
hot damn.
Yeah.
I always thought a study's just a small library.
Well, that's what he calls this room, and no one dares
Seems like he's
argue
trying to
with him about
compensate
it.
for something.
Correct.
Maybe.
I want to make a perception at the books. I want to see what books I can see.
Okay.
I just want to see what 19! I just want to see, like, the titles.
So most of the books, the title is too small of print to be read from the lower floor.
Mm-hmm.
But a few have words that are big enough you can pick out, and they really run the gamut. Like, there are atlases, there are history books, encyclopedias, that kind of stuff. There are a couple of books where the text is big enough for you to read, but it's not a language that you know.
Oh, gosh dang it.
Yeah.
I'm nosy.
Yeah, there is a full library upstairs. There are thousands of books.
Jesus. Okay.
And at the far end of the room, there is a large ebony wooden desk. Everything in the room is black and red themed. The curtains are red velvet. All the wood that you see is ebony. Yeah. Between the bookshelves and alcoves, there are taxidermied creatures, like, not just bears and lions, like, magical. Like, there's a taxidermied manticore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like a whole manticore?
Yeah. It's huge.
What a show off.
Yeah, like there's a taxidermied drake hanging from the ceiling, like a museum.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, this huge desk stacked with books and scrolls. Behind it, there is this very tall, red satin-looking chair. The back is turned to you. And from one of the alcoves in the far back, there is the faint sound of papers rustling. Butler shows you into this room, closes the door behind you, and gets the fuck out of there. So you are left to your own devices, standing in the Baron's study.
Charlie walks up to the ebony desk, but keeps a distance at the same time out of respect, and then stands there.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything different?
I want to ransack the desk. See what's in there. Yep.
Rifle through it and look for things.
Can I make a perception if the Archbaron is in the room currently, or if we are just alone in the room?
Roll me a perception, please.
That is a 23.
Okay. So, it's hard to tell whether the Baron is in the room, just because you don't really have any frame of reference for what that is. You know somebody is in this room. Somebody is behind that curtain, rifling through papers.
So, real question is, does Victoria still want to go through with her plan of rifling through the desk?
Yes.
Okay. So you step around behind the desk where the drawers are, presumably.
Yeah.
Does Victoria walk past me?
Yes. Yeah.
Charlie will hold out her hand and stop Victoria in her tracks, and she'll turn to her and go, "My dear, I wouldn't walk any farther."
And why not?
And she'll put her hand back down. Trust me,
Sorry, but my curiosity is stronger than my respect.
your funeral. And she'll just put her head down and wait for the Archbaron or whoever will join us.
All right. So, as you are reaching out for the first drawer that you would pull, a voice from behind the curtain comes up. It says, you should really have listened to Miss Malocchio. I don't take kindly to my privacy being violated. And as that sentence completes, a figure steps through the curtain. Let's see how far up I have to scroll. Yeah, if you scroll up a little ways in the in-play channel, you'll see an image I posted of a man in a black and red suit. That is Archbaron Durelius Vex.
Oh yeah, Doctor Strange, not Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he looks like evil Doctor Strange. But, instead of the, ridiculous goatee, he has a pointy mustache that sticks out a good 2 inches past where his face stops.
And a face that could house a second mustache right below it.
Yep.
Oh, wow, look at you.
Yeah. He then steps around beside the desk, flips the chair around, revealing that even though it was turned away from you in a way that would suggest somebody's going to dramatically turn around, the chair is in fact empty.
Oh,
and
wow.
he then sits in it.
Not doing the generic evil man thing, I see.
It's a red herring. And once he is seated, kind of looks across the group and says, I am pleased you could all answer my summons. You would be the agents that Rosalago and Izinio have recommended to me. I can't say you're quite what I expected, but that may be a boon in days to come. I am Durelius Vex, Archbaron of Longacre, and I'm told that you, and he points to the Charlie Suriel Regulus group.
Hello.
He says, I'm told you are the one who reported our local priestess's lack of patriotism. As such, I thought you might be well suited to helping end the threats to Longacre and the rule of law. My rule. If you're amenable, of course. And the two of you, he then points to Uktuk and Vittoria. Izinio spoke very highly of your talents, and I felt that you would also be an asset to this operation.
Charlie curtsies and bows her head. It would be an honor to serve you, Archbaron.
Suriel's been kind of studying everybody else, the two newcomers, and just looking over them before turning back to the Archbaron and saying, whatever you need us to do, we can get done, as long as you pay us a good price.
Anybody else?
Uktuk will bow his head to the Baron and says, the Church of Asmodeus, the Church of Asmodeus always recognized power where power is deserved.
Any comment from Regulus?
Regulus just looks excited for possibly the first time to anyone here. And he's got a subtle smile.
He continues, my terms are this. You will be sworn in as agents of the Thrune organization, reporting directly to me. In compensation for the tasks you will be assigned, you will be paid a salary of 15 gold pieces per week, and of course, you are welcome to claim whatever salvage you may come across in your duties. And it's kind of pauses for questions.
Where do I sign?
Charlie bows, curtsies again and says, that is very generous, Archbaron. Can you please tell me if there are any locations that we have advantage to? Do we have our own place to reside, like the Ash House, or are we still residing there for the moment?
Well, regarding the Ash House, your continued dwelling there will be up to the new landlord.
And who would that landlord be, your Archbaron?
he just, with an open hand, gestures towards Simri. This was promised to her as a finder's fee for bringing the rest of you to my attention.
Very good, Archbaron. As she bows again.
Now, there is one matter that must be attended to before the forms are signed. Queen Abigail has decreed that in this time of national crisis, all agents of the crown must reaffirm their loyalty to their lord, House Thrune, and Cheliax itself by swearing the Hellfire Compact. If you are to serve me in the Queen's name, I must insist. And with that, he gets up from his desk, walks to another alcove, and draws the curtain aside to reveal a pedestal that appears to be made of obsidian that reaches about waist height for a normal person.
What do you mean?
By which I mean
normal?
a medium-sized creature. The bottom of it is kind of stylized to resemble a clawed foot, kind of clutching at the ground. And the top of it ends in a clawed hand, holding a red crystal about the size of a football. The crystal itself seems kind of lit from within by an ethereal black fire.
Does Uktuk know what this crystal is?
Roll me a religion, please.
Perfect. Let's see.
Regulus can also roll Hell Knight lore, if you wish.
Hell. Yeah.
I have a 17 for religion.
This is
Okay.
a 5 on Hell Knight lore.
Okay, Regulus never got far enough in his Hell Knight induction to see this, I guess.
How the fuck dare?
Uktuk, you didn't do high enough to know a lot of the particulars of this object, but the general is that it is, well, the dark fire inside is clearly hellfire, leading you to believe that this object is something of hellish origin.
Oh, if it's about hellish origin, I have lore hells.
Oh, then yeah, roll me that.
Alrighty. That'd be an 18. A little bit better.
Okay. Yeah, and DCs for lore are a little lower because it's so specific. So with that, you know that this is an ember taken from Hell's Forge in Phlegethon.
Okay.
That knowledge also tells you that touching this will burn you.
Right on. Would I right away know what he intends for us to do?
Just from context and knowing what you know, it is likely that what he expects is for you to place your hand on the stone and swear whatever oath he's going to ask for.
Right on. Utuk eagerly steps forward.
Well, so what happens when you touch it mechanically
Right.
is it deals 1d6 fire damage and 1d6 evil damage. Being evil-aligned characters, the evil damage will not harm or affect you, but you are going to take 1d6 fire damage on touching it. Anybody that has fire resistances, that will apply. But yeah, like, you're going to have to endure some pain to get this job. And for anybody who is not super familiar with the context of everything in Pathfinder, that salary he's offering you, 15 GP per week, is the same as the total starting gold for a PC.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and so for characters who came from a more modest means, like, this is a huge deal.
Charlie's like secretly going ape shit right now.
Yeah, that I think in the Lost recordings, I likened it to a kid from the hood making it out and getting a $200K a year tech job. Like, this is life-changing money. Well, yeah, for Suriel that's chump change, but yeah. Yeah, the other detail that was added there is the organization that you will be working for is called the Thrune organization. If any of you want to roll society to see if you know about that, you can.
I totally can do that.
You can also just ask the Baron some questions, since he is, paused for questions.
I rolled a 10 for society.
Yeah, the two of you would know kind of the just offhanded description I've given to the players of, like, they are secret police, essentially. They're an organization who works for the government and does anything and everything that they need to help the regime stay in power. Charlie, you know some of the more specifics of cells like this will be created and sworn to the direct service of a noble. Doing good there can be a stepping stone to moving higher in the organization, which means making more powerful contacts, and agents at the top level of this, their swearing in for that is done by the Queen herself.
Okay.
Wow, look at you, Charlie.
Yeah, so like this is a track to gain status and power in addition to wealth, provided you're willing to do the kind of dirty work that this organization handles, which is surveillance and arrests, yeah, like normal cops, but also, executing dissidents and
Big
all
old
other kind of
torture.
things. Yeah.
The good stuff.
Not just small time torture, big torture.
Yeah, and that's why I really liken them to the SS specifically, because they are there to, in addition to help save the country from external threats, they also really focus on internal threats like dissidents and people who don't pay their taxes, and all that kind of stuff too.
The taxes is the worst one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah. So, Uktuk, you take a step forward without waiting for the for the call. The Baron doesn't seem all that surprised and says aloud, "Uktuk Fiendhold, Izinio spoke very highly of your fervor in Asmodeus' service. I trust that means you're willing to do what must be done. Approach."
And Uktuk approaches.
Yeah, in this moment, this introduction, you want to give us a little spiel on who Uktuk is?
So,
Appearance,
Uktuk,
general vibe, and deal.
Uktuk is a very tall orc, about 7 foot tall, wearing a black breastplate with red trimming. He has a steel shield that is also black and red, and a flail, again black and red. Very black and red theme as the traditional colors of the Asmodean Church. He is strong-looking, hardy-looking, and handsome too, especially for a full-blooded orc.
How dare you make Suriel have to look up at somebody?
How dare you make me look down at you? Actually, no. I prefer it that way.
Next time we see Suriel, she's got platform shoes on.
No, they're just higher heels. Each time they just get higher.
Charlie will cast Mage Hand to lift her up.
Charlie understands
I'm
the
not doing it
assignment.
now, I'm just joking, but
No.
And Uktuk is a tyrant champion of Asmodeus, yes?
Yes, he is.
We got a tyrant on our side. Not much different than the rest of us, but
Yeah. Well, that's the official name for the lawful evil
Yeah.
champion code.
The Tyrant Cause.
That's the one.
The one and the only. Lonely macaroni. Okay, stop me before I keep going.
All right. So as you approach, the Baron hands you a small, an index card, and says, "Place your hand upon the stone. Read the oath."
He looks at the index card, and
I'm gonna drop the text of it in play because I don't want to read it out loud several times.
Oh,
But,
thank
Right.
God.
Each player is gonna say it out loud for their own.
Oh, God damn it.
It's It's okay. It's like 2 sentences.
That's too much. No, I'm just kidding.
So before he takes out, or he takes the index card, he actually reaches for his side and pulls out his dagger and puts the blade to his palm and cuts his palm open, and then places his bloody, wounded palm onto the Hellfire Stone.
All right. As you do, you take... There it is. Ooh, I rolled the max. You're going to take 6 points of fire damage. As you do, the wound on your hand is immediately cauterized because you touched a coal from the forges of hell.
Which is nice, you know.
And the blood that would have been on the wound when it touched is immediately burned away, leaving a black smudge of ash around the wound on your palm.
Serial will kind of lean over to Charlie and whisper to her. He's a little bit, excited.
I swear my absolute allegiance to Orc Baron Darylus Vex, her infernal magistrix queen, Abigail II of thrice damned House of Thrune, and the Empire of Cheliax.
After you complete the oath, the Baron places his hand out, like the give it to me gesture for the card.
He hands it back.
Your non-wounded hand, please.
He offers it to him.
With the other hand, he kind of takes it and presses his thumb to the middle of your palm. When he does, a glowing glyph of the Archbaron's sigil appears on that palm and then vanishes. And he says, "Welcome to the organization," and then kind of waves you to move back to the group.
I take my place back where I was.
Serial will go next.
I'm gonna
Oh, yeah.
call you. He was just, that was exciting. Yes.
Okay.
But I will call you. You players can decide what order you go in. It's just the formality of the Baron calling you up. But yeah, you can choose the order. So then he turns and says, "Miss Serial Tanash, are you as much of a bastard as your father is? I hope so."
He'll see her eye twitch a little at that, just in reference to her father in any way possible. Is extremely annoying. Before she takes a deep breath, sighing. I guess you could say that. Before stepping forward.
So, let me give us a little description.
Yeah. So, Suriel, probably the second tallest in the group, is...
She's 6'1", right?
Yeah, 6'1" in heels, 5'11" without. So 6'1". This 6'1" foot tall, very fit, lavender tiefling woman. The tips of her horns, what you can see of her hands because she has fingerless gloves, and her tail all fade to this dark, almost black purple. She does have claws, which are out and ready to be used, but not right now, it's fine. Her tail is tipped in gold for only God knows what, and she's wearing this nice emerald green coat with gold trim and sheaths in the back with your generic swashbuckler pirate boots with greaves on the front and a black halter top under it. You can see on top of the halter top there is leather armor. Same thing with the bracers on her wrists as well. And she'll walk forward, placing her hand on the stone from hell.
All right. You are going to take only 2 points of fire damage.
Yeah.
And the Baron hands you the card.
I swear my absolute allegiance to Archbaron Darylus Vex, her infernal magistrix Queen Abigail II of thrice damned House of Thrune and the Empire of Cheliax. It's a lot less ceremonial than Oogtook's.
Yeah. And again, takes the card back, asks for your hand, for the other hand.
She would give him his other hand, her other hand. Words are hard.
Yeah, he does the same thing. He presses his thumb to the middle of your palm. The sigil briefly appears and then vanishes, and he welcomes you to the Thrune organization.
And Cyril will step back to her spot.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
Okay, who's next tallest?
We are kind of going.
We'll do it in height order.
Who's
If
taller,
that's what you want.
Charlie or Victoria?
I said that I was 5'8".
Oh no!
All right, should we roll it out?
Simultaneously.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll a d20.
Go up to the menu.
I don't know.
Right where
I
you see
vote
the
for
little...
Jess because Jess didn't immediately try to loot the desk.
True.
Oh.
You go
All
first.
right.
So-
Next, he calls Miss Victoria Wilder. Same deal. He hands you the card. You place your hand upon the stone. You are going to take 5 points of fire damage.
The newcomers have taken the most damage so far.
Yeah. He, same deal, takes the card, asks for your hand. And the reason that I'm specifying the non-wounded hand for all of this is I'm just operating under the assumption that the hand you place on the stone is your, dominant hand.
Mm-hmm.
So he is placing the sigil on your non-dominant hand. Because, if you're holding a sword and you still need to show it,
That's fair.
Well, actually, Uktuk used his left hand because he used his right hand to cut his other hand.
Wow. Uktuk just had
Well-
to be different. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's already happened. I'm just, it's not that important. It's just, that's why he's doing it that way.
We'll assume it's
What?
your non-dominant hand.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say it was a good assumption. That's just...
Just an assumption.
Yeah. And yeah, same thing. The sigil lights up briefly on your palm before fading, and you are then asked to step back to the group. Charlotte Malocchio, I'm told you have quite the gift for magic and a keen intellect.
You are.
As a
Oh, go ahead.
student of the arcane myself, that earns some respect.
Ooh.
Charlie curtsies and says, "Your perception as well as your intelligence is very high, Archbaron." And she'll walk forward to the stone to place her hand on it.
Oh, my dear, flattery will get you everywhere.
I count on it. And she kind of bats her eyes a little.
Yeah. So yeah, give us the overview of Charlie.
Yeah, so Charlie, she is a human witch. She is it's a homebrew deity that she follows. Patron, yeah.
But
Sorry, yeah,
yeah.
I mixed it up. So homebrewed patron, and but my spell lists are primarily arcane, and you're gonna picture from a movie. You're gonna picture Robin Lively from Teen Witch, and she has got kind of that bouffant 80s red hair, dressed plainly. She comes from, her background's very poor, desolate, meager means, and you'll see a necklace around her neck. You'll see a leather strap around her waist with a dagger sheathed on it. And then lastly, you'll see a small boa slithering up her arm out of his little pack that she keeps for him, his little house. And his name is Stephen.
Specifically with 5 S's.
Yes, specifically with 5 S's. And so that's her look. That's her.
all right.
And
Okay,
go ahead.
you are going to take 5 points of fire damage
Okay.
from touching the stone.
I'm sorry I cursed you by saying it.
No problem. Okay. And I place my right hand on the stone, and she reads, "I swear my absolute allegiance to Archbaron Daryllus Fex, her infernal magistrix Queen Abigail II of the thrice-damned House of Thrune, and the Empire of Sheliax."
And you are also touched on the hand. The sigil appears and fades away. Charlie, being an arcane spellcaster, you actually would probably recognize what this effect is.
Should I roll a perception?
It would be our Arcana.
Arcana? You got it.
Yeah.
Let me roll Arcana.
Ooh,
Oh, I got a nat 1.
he had to roll.
I'm gonna
really
do a hero.
frickin'
I'm gonna use my hero point.
Okay.
That's sad.
Cool.
Hey!
Hey, natural 18. It's a 26 total.
Okay, so
Much better.
you are actually able to identify this pretty readily as a variant of the Arcane Mark spell. What that is that at will you can make the mark appear, and given that it's the Archbaron's crest, it is most likely meant to act as your badge, for lack of a better word. The other important, the variation on it is that also acts as a beacon, allowing the person who placed the mark upon you to locate you.
Cool.
Great if you aren't trying to betray them. Bad if you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Charlie will curtsy again and step away from the Archbaron.
Here comes the boy.
Yeah. And last but not least,
No, he is
Armature.
literally least.
yeah, Armature Regulus Lex. I'm told you're a skilled marksman.
Regulus is just gonna step forward. Is there any assistance for him to reach the flame?
Regulus
The
needs
Baron
puppies.
snaps his fingers, and the pedestal, just the middle arm part, retracts down until the stone is about eye level with Regulus.
Oh, sorry, you must be this tall to join the order.
Okay, cool. So Regulus is just under a foot tall. His skin and body are made of tin, and it's covered in scratches and some remnants of paint. His flesh is shaped like Hell Knight armor, which means lots of spikes.
Oh, sorry.
And his eyes, however, are made of flesh, and they glow slightly red.
Yeah, that is an upsetting detail.
Every time. Especially the fact that you said his flesh is made like Hell Knight armor, that made it worse.
That's Regulus, baby.
Oh man, he's gonna look so funny holding an index card.
So he props up the index card between him and the pedestal.
I need him to pull out glasses in order to read it, though.
Funny.
You are lucky as hell because I rolled 1 for your fire damage.
Lucky as hell.
But being given your ancestry, you are vulnerable to fire,
Yeah,
meaning it's going to
so-
do extra damage.
So he takes twice as much because it happens to be 1.
Yeah.
And then he puts his left hand on there. I've decided he's left-handed because it's more sinister.
Nice.
Wait, hold
Wow.
on. Are you saying Link from Legend of Zelda is sinister?
Have you seen that man?
Yes. He looks handsome.
Jess is a lefty.
Handsome people can be sinister. Have you ever seen a picture of young Joseph Stalin?
Exactly.
Dude was hot as hell. And
Luke Took is also sinister, okay?
yeah. Anyway, Regulus.
It was a pun because sinister means on the left in Latin.
Does it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
That is a great pun then. Well done.
Oh my god. I forgot all my
also-
Latin roots.
If we're casting him, Regulus is played by John Malkovich.
Except tiny.
I love it.
but we
Is
can do
John
that with,
Malkovich on his knees like Gary Oldman was in that one movie?
No, this is like forced perspective camera tricks, like how
Like
they
Lord
made
of the Rings.
Gandalf look gigantic in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Not
Yeah.
pulling a tiptoes.
Oh, that movie was
Yeah.
bad.
What, Lord of the Rings?
No, Tiptoes.
Tiptoes.
Oh, okay.
I love Lord of the Rings movies.
I think,
I was about to fight you.
yeah, James was
Yeah,
gonna
I would have deserved to be fought if I said
Yeah.
that was bad.
James was gonna board a plane to Wisconsin and come find you.
This entire campaign is brought to you by Peter Jackson.
Oh my god, okay.
Anyway, Regulus's oath.
Yes. I swear my absolute allegiance to Archbaron Darylis Vex, her infernal majestrix Queen Abigail II of the thrice-damned House of Thrune, and the Empire of Cheliax.
Yeah. And same process. He takes he picks up the card from where you propped it, places his thumb on your palm, which takes up your whole palm, I imagine.
And then some.
For you, the mark is projected, so it's big. It's like you have a hologram instead of just your hand glows.
He's just a baby.
He's a G.I. Joe action figure with a real gun.
Oh God.
Regulus promised himself he wouldn't cry when he did the oath.
Yeah.
Get back in there, Tyr.
And as soon as Regulus steps back in line, from behind the curtain comes a voice that, for three of you, is very familiar. It's Rosalago.
Motherfucker.
For the other two, this is this is the patron that they know painfully little about at this point. So
I hate him.
yeah. I told you they'd be up to the vow, and eager to get to work, I suspect, which is good considering what I've just uncovered. The Baron looks towards the alcove. The one the voice came from is the one that previously you heard papers shuffling behind, and the Baron gets kind of an annoyed look on his face, steps over to the curtain, and as he's walking says, "There's no need for your dramatics any longer, Rosalago," and then whips the curtain aside to reveal another large desk stacked with papers and scrolls, and seated is the wrong word, standing upon it, because he's kind of clinging to the side like a monster, is Rosalago, whose picture I am going to drop into the in-play, and he is not good to look at.
He's very hard on the eyes.
Yeah. It's like a baby centaur, but instead of a horse body, it's a fly body. And he has the wings of the fly on the human shoulders, and the eyes are also compound fly eyes.
Oh. I want to murder this thing.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Good luck.
and anybody that wants to know perhaps what this creature is can roll a religion. Or Hell Lords.
Yeah, I roll hell.
Just dang it. I rolled a
Regulus's Hell
10.
Knight roll also.
I want to stop rolling tens. Ah.
Aw. I rolled a 10 for hells.
Stop rolling tens with me.
Okay.
Regulus
So-
got a 16.
Yeah, the 10s are enough to know that this is a Zebub, also known as an Accuser Devil.
An
Oh, I'm
accuser?
supposed to like this thing. God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, he is a devil. Which means that you serve the same master.
Right.
And I
For
won't hate
Regulus,
Now,
Regulus
specifically,
specifically.
the accuser devil is good for Uktuk.
Oh.
yeah. Regulus, you know from studying devils as extensively as you did, Zebubs, or Accuser Devils, are Hell's, like, spies. They can make themselves invisible and teleport, and their main task is to spy on people and take down notes on whatever it is they're doing.
Oh my God.
And for the players who were recruited by him, he was using these abilities to spy on them the entire time up until this point.
And that's why that motherfucker has so many books.
Yeah, because devils, like all outsiders, are functionally immortal unless someone undertakes the very difficult task of destroying them
Yeah.
permanently. So yeah, having journals prepared for decades and centuries in the future makes total sense for an accuser devil to do. That's why all those books were Clue, being in Infernal, which is his native language.
Ugh, I
Mhm.
hate it. Ugh.
Rosalago looks up from the desk and completely different voice, because this is just a gag I wanted to do. The whole first point, like, he was talking in that raspy, dry, like, old man voice. When his form is revealed, says, Oh, that means I can drop that ridiculous voice.
I love it.
Surreal you. If anyone's paying attention, she's physically holding back laughter.
Yeah.
Only a little bit, like a giggle here and there, but trying not to be disrespectful.
Yeah. But with that out of the way, he kind of like walks across the desk and then picks up a paper with his fly leg, like it sticks, and like passes it up to his people hands. These are a really unpleasant thing.
Honestly, that's really smart, though.
Yeah.
This reminds me of like Beetlejuice, 100%.
It does. You're right.
Yeah, kind of. Then looking over the paper says, "This angel night doesn't appear to be just a fiction concocted by some overzealous priestess. A talentless local minstrel named Riley Kells claims to have met her, and has even composed a series of ballads in her honor. While the amateur's singing is crime enough, he performed these songs at the Last Stand Tavern last night, which incidentally broke the near curfew and sanctions against gathering. If it pleases your lordship, our friends here should arrest the Last Stand's owner, Borgard Kagan, for defying the new law. I'll suggest pillorying him in front of the jail as an example to the others. Additionally, see what you can find about the Angel Knight from Kells."
Okay, can you repeat that? I had a hard time understanding.
Okay, so I might not do the voice going forward if it's hard to understand, but
That is fine.
It's very distracting.
that's okay.
It's
So,
entertaining, don't get me wrong.
Previously,
If it wasn't so distracting, I'd love it, but it's very distracting.
okay, so the local cleric they're talking about gave a speech to the town about how the Angel Knight and the Glorious Reclamation would back these people in the town revolting against the Baron as part of the overall liberate Cheliax from Thrune and Hell's control. Not really much of anything is known about the Angel Knight. Roslago was saying that, like, Riley Kells, a local minstrel, claiming to have met her, is, like, the first real evidence he has that that cleric didn't just make the whole thing up.
Okay.
And the curfew he's talking about places restrictions on when people can come and go and how many people can gather. So he is saying that your group should travel to Longacre, visit the Last Stand Tavern, and talk to the owner, Bogart Kagan, about his defiance of the new laws, and attempt to extract information about the Angel Knight from Riley Kells.
What kind of cleric is this cleric?
She is a cleric of Iomade.
Riley Kells is a bard whom I might have, whose feelings I might have hurt before.
Oh, you definitely hurt his feelings.
Don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I can take care of this. But you can see, like, at the mention of Riley Kell's name, just the smallest of smirks pops up on Serial's face. She's planning something already, clearly.
Charlie gives you a side eye, kind of gives you like a little smirk. Just hearing the name pop up was like, yeah.
And at this point, you can ask for any other questions or clarification you have about the mission.
Can I get the directions in writing?
With that, the Baron replies, "That's not how this works. If this mission were something I could put in writing, my personal guard would be attending to it. I need you for plausible deniability."
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Understandable. Got to always make sure in case something goes wrong. It won't lead back to anyone important under your watch. Got it.
You guys are kind of like the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Knowing ahead of time, I don't want to ask questions that could help us with our, mission or, our next episode. So that's why I'm kind of like trying to think of things that I don't know about.
Wait, why don't you want to ask questions?
Well, because because we already know that when we get to the Last Stand Tavern, that the dude got some
That's metagaming.
I know, that's why right, I don't want to metagame, so I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of questions that don't metagame.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I respect the restraint. In that case, a couple of questions that the book mentions that players might ask. One of them is how rough you should be, or how far you can go with the arrest and extracting information from Kells.
That's a good one.
The answer being, if you're attacked, of course, feel free to defend yourselves, but you shouldn't kill or permanently damage people or assets unless absolutely necessary, because human rights aren't anything we're that worried about, but dead men don't pay taxes.
Don't forget, guys, dead men don't pay taxes.
Mhm.
Well, maybe they should have thought of that before they broke the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Uktuk's is giddy with excitement.
Just imagine
But-
he's just like standing to the side, just vibrating. Everyone else is calm, and he's just there.
He's just standing there, and he's just got a big old orky tooth grin.
Draws his flail with religious intent.
Holy music stops.
Slayer starts up.
Okay.
Yeah, they also remind you that part of your job is to represent the rule of law. So any action that disrupts that order is, what's the word I'm looking for? Is contrary to your overall mission. So it should be very carefully considered
Yeah.
before you do something widely disruptive.
So don't blow the whole place up.
Yes.
But what if I am the law?
I am
If
the
you
law.
if you say that to the Baron, he will remind you that he is the law. You are an instrument of the law.
I am an instrument of the mighty Asmodeus. It is he who is law. You are just
Man.
borrowing me.
Yeah, but he's the law on Earth.
I mean, you did just swear an oath of absolute allegiance to him.
Yeah.
He's like, that was 5 minutes ago. I don't remember any of that.
Well, you're gonna have to take it with the man up top, or down bottom.
I mean, if you want to get into a whole theological discussion about how all that works,
Does Uktuk understand that?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool, actually.
yeah, because the thrice damned House of Throne is officially, legally, and spiritually given the authority to rule on Earth in Asmodeus's name. So, but that's not a super important conversation to have, because if you don't do what he says, you're not doing the game, so.
We're here to get the job done.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Wow. My voice just cracked real bad.
Is that in unison, jump up to high five each other?
Yeah!
A la Anchorman. Yeah.
You jump to high five, it freeze frames, except that everyone's looking around because they don't know why they've frozen in midair.
Rosalago's like, why?
Yeah. But once the question and answer is complete, the Baron very abruptly snaps back into business mode and says, "You have received your orders. I don't know why you're still here."
Charlie curtsies and turns around to walk out.
Suriel's gonna try her damnedest to not roll her eyes and follow Charlie out.
You also swore an oath of absolute allegiance to him
Yes.
just a few minutes ago.
And
Uktuk will bow and turn and leave.
you can't talk to me like that. I'm not a kid.
I mean, he is your liege lord.
I'm not a kid.
No, but you are a vassal.
I'm an adult.
I have adult money.
Yeah, you do.
God dang it. I'm 24. No.
Yeah. Outside the room, the butler is waiting for you, who shows you the way back to the front door.
And of course, we
At
get...
the door, hands each of you a pouch containing your first week's pay.
Ooh, paying up front.
Well, I mean, the implication here is it'll be way worse than not getting paid if you fuck this up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because especially poignant for the other group that had a fourth member who was separated from the group when you arrived and has not been seen or heard from since.
Yeah.
And you can all, draw your own conclusions, but it's pretty clear that she is not coming along with you.
Aw, shucks, says Charlie as she walks up.
Yeah.
It's good that
at the
Oak
door,
got paid. He only had one
you're
gold.
handed off. Yeah, at the door, the inside butler hands you off to an outside servant of some kind who shows you to the gate. And then you are on your own.
We're free.
It is almost a full day's journey back to town.
We could do it on horseback this time. We don't have to walk here.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you all want to say that you came on horseback or by wagon, it would be a half day's travel.
Do it.
In which case, it would be you are summoned in the morning, get here and do the oath about lunchtime, and then get home, like not evening, but, around when people are going to be eating dinner.
Okay.
Cool.
If you make the trip on foot, yeah, it's a full day's travel out and a full day's travel back.
Giddy up,
Oak
horsey.
couldn't afford a horse.
Well, not to buy, but renting a horse for a couple of days is very reasonable.
How much is reasonable?
It's a silver piece a day to rent a horse.
All right. I could do that.
Yeah, or you could have pooled your money and got a wagon to bring you out here. That would also be extremely affordable.
Which Suriel would have done, but money's tight right now.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
How much would a wagon be?
That would be 5 silver for the group, but that would be out and back.
Yeah. It's just 1 gold, which isn't bad, but,
No, the 5 silver is for a round trip.
Oh.
So I'm sure that if you want, the group has half a gold piece between you.
Do we, guys?
I think we do.
Regulus has already purchased his steed.
This is true.
True. Yeah, and I buried the lead with getting paid, because this is also when you reach 2nd level. Yay!
Yay!
Hey y'all, it's Modius, Prince of Darkness. You've been listening to the Pathenders. Make sure to follow on the platform of your choice, and to tell a friend. The more you share, the more who listen, and the more who listen, the greater my influence grows.